Some connections are so profound and natural that they feel destined, almost too perfect to be a coincidence. At times, we meet someone and immediately sense that there's something extraordinary about them, as if the universe itself has conspired to bring you together. When the universe intends for two souls to meet, certain signs start appearing. These signs may not always be obvious, but they are real. Unexpected encounters, deep conversations, and paths crossing at just the right time all serve as proof of this greater force at play. In this video, we reflect on those moments that seem guided by something much larger than ourselves. Drawing from Carl Jung's insights, we will dive into how unconscious archetypes and the soul's movements draw us to others with whom we share a true connection. If you believe that some encounters are meant to happen, comment, "I am open to the universe's signs." For Carl Jung, nothing is purely random. The most meaningful relationships, especially those that seem fated, are often influenced by deep, hidden dynamics in our unconscious mind. Jung proposed that the collective unconscious, a universal memory shared by all of humanity, has the power to shape the choices we make and the people we meet. When we feel like the universe is guiding us towards someone, what we're actually experiencing is a harmony between our inner world and the outer events around us. This kind of connection is tied to the process of individuation, the journey of self-discovery, and the integration of all parts of who we are. During this journey, we project parts of ourselves onto others, something Jung called projection. In many relationships, we're not just getting to know someone else, we're also getting to know ourselves through them. The shadow, everything we hide from ourselves, often appears in these deep bonds. Sometimes we feel a strong emotional pull when meeting someone because it touches on unresolved wounds or unexplored potentials within us. Jung also spoke about the animus and anima, the masculine and feminine aspects within each of us. When the universe aligns two people together, it often happens because that person brings out a forgotten or suppressed part of us, offering a path for healing or a new opportunity for growth. Destiny, in this sense, is not an external force, but an inner calling reflected in the people we meet. The universe moves with our soul's journey, but it does so subtly. When two people meet unexpectedly, under circumstances that feel too coincidental to be true, it often feels like the universe is trying to communicate something. Jung called this synchronicity, meaningful coincidences that aren't directly related but seem linked by something deeper. In relationships, synchronicity shows us that there's something beyond logic and reason guiding these encounters. Imagine thinking about someone and then receiving a message from them moments later. Or consider two strangers from different places meeting in a random location, almost as if their paths were meant to cross there. For Jung, these occurrences weren't accidents, but manifestations of the collective unconscious, revealing connections between our inner and outer worlds. These moments ask us to pay attention to what they might be revealing. Synchronicity tends to appear at pivotal times: the first encounter, unexpected reunions, or moments when everything falls into place. While these signs don't promise an easy journey, they suggest that there's something meaningful to be learned from that person. Life places before us relationships that are meant to teach us something or help us face what we need to confront, often starting with a symbolic nudge from the universe. Synchronicity also acts as a mirror to our inner world. The universe doesn't speak to us through words. It communicates through symbols, encounters, and chance events. A book that falls into our lap at just the right time, a song that perfectly matches our feelings, or even a simple conversation that answers a question we didn't even know we were asking. All these are the symbolic language of the unconscious. When the universe wants us to connect with someone, it begins weaving a subtle web of signs. But we need to be attuned to these signals because they're not always glaringly obvious. They appear quietly, in a meaningful encounter, a spontaneous conversation, or recurring symbols that become too significant to ignore. Sometimes the coincidences occur so frequently that they become impossible to deny. However, we must remember that synchronicity doesn't replace conscious choice. While it opens the door, we still have to decide whether we want to walk through it. Even when signs point to a significant encounter, it's up to each person to approach the relationship with responsibility, maturity, and presence. Destiny might bring two people together, but it's our awareness and commitment that will determine how we walk that path. Jung's concept of synchronicity is about connecting our inner world with the external one, giving meaning to events that may otherwise seem random. Paying attention to these signs isn't superstition. It's an act of deep listening, a dialogue with life's mysteries. When it comes to love, being open to these signs can reveal much more than we see at first glance. When something inside us aligns with the natural flow of life, what once seemed impossible becomes possible. And when the universe truly wants two people to be together, it ensures that they meet at just the right time. The key is recognizing the signs and deciding with both our hearts and souls if we're ready to follow that path. When we fall in love or feel drawn to someone, we don't always see them for who they really are. What we see often reflects parts of ourselves, qualities we admire, desires we've buried, or even unhealed wounds. This is what Jung called projection. He believed that we project onto others what is still unconscious within us, both our light and shadow, our dreams and our fears. At first, this projection can feel enchanting. We believe the other person embodies everything we've ever wanted: strength, mystery, freedom. But over time, we start to realize that this image isn't quite right. It doesn't mean the love isn't real. It means we've been looking through a lens of our own creation. In many encounters that seem guided by the universe, the symbolic force is so strong that it's easy to confuse the real person with the idealized image we've created of them. For Jung, every projection is an opportunity for growth. It shows us what we still need to integrate within ourselves. The other person becomes a mirror, reflecting not only our desires, but also our fears, insecurities, and undeveloped aspects. When we meet someone who triggers deep parts of us, intense feelings often emerge. Sometimes, this enchantment is accompanied by pain because the person touches on past wounds or internal conflicts. The truth is that many relationships are spaces for healing. But for that healing to happen, we need to be willing to examine honestly what's being projected. What is it about this person that fascinates me? What deeply bothers me? What does this relationship awaken within me that I don't usually feel? These questions help us become more aware of the process. Over time, we begin to realize that much of what we see in the other person doesn't truly belong to them. It's our own projection. Anger, jealousy, admiration, dependency, the fear of loss, all these are clues to what's still unresolved within us. The more aware we become, the more freedom we gain to build authentic relationships, without masks or idealizations. Jung also talked about complexes, emotional patterns formed by significant experiences, particularly in childhood. Many of our relationships activate these complexes. For example, someone might be drawn to a partner who unconsciously represents a parental figure. This explains why we repeat old patterns in relationships, even when we try to change. But it's not about avoiding projections. They're inevitable, especially in love. The key is recognizing them and using them as tools for self-awareness. When we manage to see the other person as they truly are, Without projecting our expectations or frustrations onto them, we create space for a real connection, where two whole beings meet, not just two idealized images. This process requires courage, but it also brings profound liberation. We stop expecting the other person to save or complete us. Instead, we take responsibility for our own journey. Love then becomes less about searching for something missing and more about expressing what already overflows within us. So, when the universe brings someone into our lives and we feel something special about them, we must reflect on what this relationship awakens in us. Perhaps it's showing us something we need to see. Maybe it's a clear mirror, revealing both the beauty and the shadows we have yet to face. In that process, we have the chance to grow, heal, and become whole, both in relation to the other and within ourselves. When we think of destined encounters, we often imagine something light and magical. But the truth is that the most profound, transformative relationships aren't always easy. They challenge us, confront us, and often make us face parts of ourselves that we'd rather leave hidden. These parts are what Jung called the shadow. Everything we deny, repress, or simply fail to recognize in ourselves. The shadow isn't just made of negative traits like anger or pride. It also contains undeveloped potentials and repressed desires. When someone enters our life with such intensity, they often trigger our shadow. This can manifest as both fascination and conflict. Destined relationships are not necessarily here to complete us, but to reveal us. They are mirrors that shine light on our unconscious. The stronger the bond, the more intense the emotions. Insecurities, fears of abandonment, control, and the need for validation often emerge. The other person becomes the stage where the internal conflict between who we are and who we have yet to become unfolds. This process is deeply uncomfortable, but it holds immense potential for growth. Jung believed that we don't become enlightened by imagining light figures, but by confronting our inner darkness. And relationships are one of the most powerful contexts for this transformation. When the universe brings someone into our lives in a meaningful way, it can serve as a reminder of our higher purpose. It might stir long-buried feelings or push us to evolve into something greater. It might even hurt before it heals. But what's certain is that those encounters aren't random. They are symbols and mirrors, tools for our spiritual journey. And if we embrace them for what they truly are, invitations to discover ourselves more fully, they will lead us exactly where we need to go. So, the next time you feel that undeniable pull towards someone or something, remember, the universe is speaking to you. Embrace the journey, trust the process, and keep evolving. If you enjoyed this exploration of how the universe guides our relationships, make sure to subscribe to Stoic Trench for more insights into Stoic philosophy, personal growth, and how to navigate life's most important connections. Until next time, keep seeking wisdom and living a life of purpose. Stay strong, stay wise, and as always, stay stoic.